Dan Scarvalone, Bully Pulpit Interactive. We are talking politics today, except we're not talking politics. We're talking about the technology of politics and why this is important to business technology. So, Dan, I want to kind of start with that macro question before we dive deep into the data. If I run a startup, an SMB, an enterprise company, it's so easy to say, politics is the realm of partisanship. I have to focus on business and the bottom line. So can you connect the dots from why what we see in the news every day and what we see especially in election years like it is this year to policy and governance?
Yeah, I think, as I think about sort of the business vertical, it's about marketing of a product or marketing of an idea. And I think that really politics is about the marketing of a personality when it comes to the specific figures that we elect for public office, or the marketing of the ideas that person's going to put into place once they get elected. I think the really, really core critical difference is that even though both business and politics are marketing, politics is marketing in these 18-month sprints. Is that campaigns are the only business in the entire world that have defined end dates at the time the election concludes, and only exist in these defined vacuums of time. And so as a result, there's a lot of, people often draw the comparison between campaigns and startups, and they are. You have a bunch of people in a room, they get together, they work really, really hard for a short amount of time, they sleep very, very little, but they have a very defined timeline in which they have to achieve their outcomes. And if they achieve 50% market share on election day, that's fantastic, and if not, they're going to be really, really unhappy for a little while.
Are there KPIs that are analogous other than kind of that binary win or lose?
I think that we, in politics, we think, attitudes are the KPIs that campaigns spend a lot of time thinking about prior to election day. How do we change hearts and minds? Then how do we hope that change in hearts and minds translates to voting at the ballot booth? I actually would flip it around, and I think it goes the other way. And I think you're seeing more and more businesses not just care about the actions that people take, but about the attitudes that people have prior to taking those actions. As corporations think more and more about changing attitudes, and as business thinks more and more about how to raise awareness and how to convince people their point of view is correct, I think you're actually seeing business move a little bit closer to politics and saying we need to focus more on how people feel as opposed to what they do. Because in business, you can sort of observe a long arc of people transacting and getting an opportunity to know if what you're doing is working. In politics, you get one day. And that's why it's sort of like coming up with better mousetraps to figure out what people feel and how those opinions are changing is equally critical for both campaigns and business alike.